Hey guys, Video Edge back here bringing you more Sandship content. Today's episode is going to be all about effective glass production. We're going to show you our current method on producing all glass items under one single level 5 microfactory roof. We're calling this one the glass house, but if you guys can think of a better name, do let us know. Now when we say all glass items, we're of course talking about these 5 here. We've got the glass plate, the glass in its most pure form, the glass sphere, the glass tube, and the glass bottle. Now as we said, this microfactory is going to produce all of these, and one thing to mention before we get started is all these glass items, with the exception of the glass, rely on the blower building to be produced. Now the blower building is not cheap, 3,500 credits per blower building, and we're going to be using a lot of these, so the costs are going to be quite high. So if you haven't already, check out our previous video on the recycler and how to make fast cash, and you won't have an issue in being able to afford this. So with that being said, let's dive straight into the actual build. Now as we said, this is going to fit entirely in your level 5 12x12 microfactory, and we're going to start just by placing our initial synthesizers down here. Now we're going to be using a bit of fast tech to try and optimize the amount of output we can get on each material, but if you haven't unlocked these fast tech items yet, don't worry, you can use the regular tech. However, please note that the output will be slightly reduced. So this first line here that we're currently crafting is going to consist of glass tubes. So in order to do that, we just need to place down these blower buildings and select the correct recipe, and then they're ready to be exported. Now that's 4 lines of glass tubes from one synthesizer. And we've got a nice output already of 6.67 glass tubes. Now we're then going to come to our second row here. We're going to leave 2 spaces between the other synthesizer and use exactly the same method to start off with here. A fast splitter followed by 2 normal splitters. You don't need to put fast splitters all the way through. Save your resources, they work exactly the same on the second row with normal splitters. And we're going to do the same again on this third row. Both the second and third rows are going to consist of glass spheres, and in order to do that we do need 2 rows of blower buildings before we come to export. Make sure we select our recipes. So in order to make glass spheres, we first need to make glass tubes, which then feed into glass spheres. Now we're then going to export them, and we're just going to leave the very first one empty for reasons that will become clear later on in the build, but we're just going to give this another test run here. Now we've got a few different glass items to finish off this build, and that is going to start with the glass bottles. Now we're going to place a synthesizer right here, and then proceed to do exactly the same again with the splitters. Now in order to make the glass bottles we need 3 sets of blower buildings per line, like so. Firstly turning them all into glass tubes, followed by glass spheres, and then finally glass bottles. We're then going to export those, change to silicon, give it a whirl, and we're already producing 1.12 glass bottles. Again, really good amount, but as you can see we still need to get our plate production set up slightly less complex. We're going to split again, just as we've done on the previous lines, heat those up, press them down, and then export. Give it a run, and we're producing 10 plates per second. Again, a really good amount. In order to squeeze a little bit more out of the plates, we're just gonna put a fast grabber down, followed by a heater plate in this little bit on the bottom here. Gives a little bit more output, 10.83, but every little helps. So let's get that one on there. And we can also use a fast grabber on this synthesizer here. Take this up here and put another line onto our glass bottle production, just to increase this that little bit more. And the reason we left the first one empty is we're going to just again put some more production of glass bottles here, with it being the most difficult one to produce. It's nice to have lots of those running, and that should increase the production up a bit more, up to nearly 1.5 a second now. Now we've just got the glass left to produce now, and because it is the most simple, we're going to utilize the bit of space we've got at the top here, use some fast grabbers, feed them directly into the heaters, and then export. Do exactly the same across all the synthesizers we've got here, and this should give us a nice amount of glass exporting as well. Now let's give that a whirl, and we can see there we've got 8.33 glass per second just with those fast grabbers. So that's a really good amount, and we're not compromising on space on any other of the materials we've got crafting. So this is a setup we've got currently in our micro factory to produce all our glass items. Again, it's all under one roof. You just switch it on, let it do its job, and you just switch it off when you've got your materials you need for your contracts and your story missions, etc. Now onto the price. Now I warned you it's going to be expensive. Let's check the blueprint here. 177k guys, but there's not a lot we can do about that, simply because the amount of blower buildings that are required to produce each material. It's going to fetch a high price though. As we said at the start of the video, if you haven't checked out our recycler setup yet to produce the most amount of coins, do give it a quick check and you'll have plenty of money to play with to produce this build. So let's export this into our factory. So here we are, and away we go. Now the other thing to note is this does require a decent amount of substance. As you can see, ours are draining down a little bit, so make sure you've got plenty on your Sandship. But we can start to see all those crucial glass items filling up in our transit there. So we're never going to be in short supply of these items. Let us know what you think of this one, guys. As always, feel free to have a play around with this design, see if you can improve it, see if you can make it better. We hope this has helped you out, but as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.